All right. Let's go. Funny thing about wanting to be successful is sometimes you're going to go through things that, are going to be tough. And not just in your work life. A lot of times, what I've noticed is things that happen in your personal life actually is what makes the journey that much harder. I think it's important to understand that when that does happen, I am extremely confident in the fact that that means that there is something on the other side waiting that is going to be bigger, better, and beyond your wildest dreams because it's happened before. Like anyone who has gone through some crazy crap and they're in it and it sucks, it's when the true awakening and the true learning experience happens. And every time your most every time your most biggest successes and your most eye opening experiences and learning experiences always happen on the back end of something like really, really bad, and I just always find that fascinating because when you're in it, you don't realize it. So it is what it is. My name is Vince Perry. Welcome to the Sunday Live. I like to do this every Sunday because I want to just take you a little bit behind the curtain, a little bit behind the scenes, have a little conversation, and just let you know some of the things that I'm doing in my life and that we're doing as a business and the multiple businesses that we've got going on here so that we could ultimately, I don't know, get to know me a little bit better because what you see on the podcast when I'm having an interview is me interviewing somebody. And I am very, very serious about when I do have an interview or a podcast, I like to, what I say, shut the fuck up and allow the guest to speak because it's not my show. And then on the Wednesday show that we have, it's me just trying to educate you on something new that I've learned, a new concept, a new framework, and something for you to take away as a business owner and as a public adjuster. But this Sunday Live, I've tried to figure out what it's going to be, and it's just me. It's just me taking you back sort of behind the scenes. I have no problem getting personal on some of the things that's going on in my personal life and also really take you back behind the scenes of what we're doing in the business because, a lot of people like to keep those things a little bit secretive or they don't want to really tell people too much. And I'm aware I can tell you enough without you, I guess, finding out too much, but I don't want to be like that either. So yeah, a lot of things going on that I'm pretty excited about. A lot of things going on in my personal life that I'm a little pretty stressed about. So much to the point where I was not going to do this live today, but the show must go on because I'm a firm believer in consistency. I'm a firm believer in persistence, and that's what it's going to take in order to go next level. Rich, good morning, sir. Jesse, let's go. Good morning, sir. Let's do this. I'm looking for comments, posts, questions, anything in relation to anything that you guys have going on. I'm really happy to see if there's a way that I can help. One thing that I like to start today with is a term that I learned from Dan Martell, and it's permission to dream. And the reason why I want to get into that real quick is because something that I've been doing this year in 2025 since probably November or December of 2024 is everyone around me to basically show them and tell them that you are allowed to dream some of your biggest dreams. So I had two meetings. I had one with my friend Rich here, actually, where we talked about goal setting. And then in the in-person mastermind that we had on Friday, it was kind of the same thing where we were discussing that, right? The permission to dream. And like people don't ever get asked. People I don't think normally get asked because I remember I was never really asked too much is like, what's just your crazy, biggest, wildest, craziest dreams that, that when you actually say them out loud, they almost sound impossible. What are the craziest, biggest goals and accomplishments that you really kind of want, but you're afraid to say them out loud because you're afraid people will say that that's impossible, and I heard a couple of good ones this past week that, I thought were very interesting. As far as business is related, everybody pretty much knows that my crazy, big, hairy, audacious goal is to have a Super Bowl commercial. And everything that I do around it is trying to get the word out for public adjusters. Even though I'm going a little bit broader now, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that a lot of my content is just more geared towards entrepreneurs. It's more geared towards business ownership. It's more geared towards how to properly run your business with systems, processes, and everything like that, not just public adjusters. However, there is an MO behind that, right? There is definitely a motive behind that. There's a couple of motives behind that. One of them is I do feel, and we went over this with a lot of the public adjusters, that if some of your biggest, crazy, wildest, hairy, and audacious goals involve multiple millions and millions of dollars, I do believe that just having one business will make that much more difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. You're going to have several streams of income. You're going to have several different kinds of investments. You're going to have several different types of residual income. So that means you're probably going to have to acquire another business. You're probably going to have to invest in another business. You're probably going to have to invest in real estate, which is like its own business as well. And it even got me to this book that I'm reading now, guys, by the way. So, I like to recommend books. A great book that I'm reading now is Multiple Streams of Income. That's the name of the book. It's How to Generate a Lifetime of Unlimited Wealth by Robert G. Allen. If you have not read that book, I strongly recommend. It's called Multiple Streams of Income. And about a quarter of the way through it, and basically that's what it's all about, guys. Investing in different things. You cannot have just one stream of income. So if you're an employee and you work at a business per se, you're still going to have that kind of side hustle. It also recommends that you become an entrepreneur and you have some kind of business ownership. So if you have any other interests or you have any other things that you're interested in, you might want to go ahead and go all in and start that business and start that entrepreneur journey so that you can now have a second stream of income. The big thing is, though, is one thing that I definitely teach is that you cannot be an employee in your business. You can't just buy yourself another full-time job. You have to do it strategically. And that's really what my passion is. My passion is basically through the years and through the mistakes that I've made for the last 15 years in business of just basically constantly working in my business. I would say just over the last 3 or 4 years, I've really started to learn and educate myself and spend money on coaches and so on and so forth to figure out really the replacement formula of delegation and having others sort of working in the business to allow you to back away and do what you need to do to grow all of the businesses. And you hear it all the time. It's always out there. People are always talking about that, hiring the people, setting the processes and systems and stuff like that. But it's much easier said than done. I think what it boils down to be completely honest, is your ability to grow the people around you. I think that's it. That's the answer. That's what I figured out. And I can see it. When I really told myself and I went through the practice of figuring out what my word for 2025 is. My word for 2025, I've said it over and over again, is impactful. I want to be impactful to everyone around me, and not just you guys who are watching the show right now as we speak, but also for the people in my business and for the people that are around me. Anybody that comes within my circle, I have a goal to elevate them as much as I can, day in and day out, and give it all away. I think one thing that I can say that I was guilty of is I felt like I almost did not want to grow my public adjusters and my employees because of a hidden fear of them growing beyond me and beyond my guidance and expertise to eventually leave and go on their own. I'm proud to say that, I'm not proud. I'm proud to say that I've never had an employee or an independent contractor willingly and decidedly leave my companies or leave my circle. Only one actually did so. Now, I'm not proud of the fact that there has been a lot of people, a lot of adjusters, and a lot of employees in my circle that I've had to let go. And every single one of those were just by necessity, had nothing to do with the person whatsoever. Literally, for those of you that are watching, that watch this, that are on my team, and if there's anybody here watching that was on my team, I want to be clear. None of those, not a single one of those, were personal. Every single one of these people that I was forced to let go was just out of sheer necessity to continue the the journey of the business to keep it moving in the right direction, because it's true. I hate to say it, it's business. People say that all the time and people get offended by that, but it's what it is. You have a duty when you are in charge of a business and you're running a business to keep that business afloat. And you also have a duty as the business owner to keep yourself and your own personal family afloat. And sometimes that does come at the I can't think of the word right now, at the expense of, the people who are in your business, unfortunately. It is what it is. But I have realized, if you guys want to learn anything at all, I have learned in the past 4 months, I would say, because we're in April now. So maybe the past 6 months, I have learned that if you want to run the business so that you are not working in the business so much, besides the fact that you're going to have to at least have one person working under you, whether it's an independent contractor or somebody abroad or an actual employee of you and your company, tax purposes wise, in the United States. That's obviously one, but you need to just help them grow any which way possible. Okay. And how do you do that is by, teaching them the leadership skills and teaching them the mindset that you learn throughout your journey as well. A lot of people, anybody that's watching now, I guarantee, knows about self-awareness, knows about awakening experiences, and knows about the true value of just continuing to grow. Well, you also have to not only continue to grow, but as you grow and as you learn the things that you learn, you need to teach them to everyone around you. You don't have to be like me with all these years of experience with coaching and a passion for teaching and a passion for all that stuff. You don't have to be. That's just got to come natural. Eventually, and maybe not come natural, but you have to actually purposely make sure that anything that you do learn, share it. Anything that you do learn and that's impacting your life, try to do the same and teach it to those around you, especially on your team, to help impact them and give them that realization of reading every day and how much it's helped you. And you have to do that to those around you. That's it, Jesse. Build your people and the people will build the business. But as I said, backtrack is, I was always afraid, Jesse, that if I built the people too much, they would leave the business. But I've learned that that's not true. I've learned that if you're truly genuine and passionate about building your people, those people will become freaking soldiers, freaking loyal soldiers. And honestly, if your worst case scenario is the person that you've put a lot of time in and passionate energy to building them, then if your true inner soul tells you that if you truly care about that person, then what will happen is, because of your impact and because of your time and dedication to building that person, your worst case scenario is that they do move on to something better, but they'll be thankful forever. It'll be something that's better for them. You'll be happier for them, whatever that opportunity happens. And I will tell you, what I've noticed over the last 6 months is the loyalty and it's much easier for me now to delegate and ask the people around me what to do, tell them what to do. And they're much more gladly to do it, because it's like a subconscious in them that they're very just grateful and excited about having an opportunity to be around somebody that's really cares about them and cares about their development, And I'm getting to my point of the dreaming big and the multiple streams of income. But I think that the big idea here that I really want to share is that if you want to not be constantly working in the business, if you want to eventually sort of like back away so that you're just the actual entrepreneur, visionary, business owner, whatever it is that's helping actually grow the business, if you want to back away more and more, you have to invest in your people much more. And you have to truly be genuine about making an impact in their lives and in everything that they do. And you have to give them the freedom to make decisions for your company as well. Because if you're investing all of that energy and all of that education that you're learning, that's making you better, and then you're in turn doing that for them, then it'll give them the power, it'll give them the confidence to make important decisions in your company, which is where you want to get to. I will tell you that we are making a shift when I'm also teaching about claims, and like my administrators, for example, like they're not licensed to make claims decisions, but there's no reason why they can't do a lot of the legwork of reviewing a denial letter and making a determination as to how to proceed and then running it by me, or reviewing an insurance company estimate and our estimate, comparing the two, putting together a legitimate rebuttal letter and email, and then running it by me, right? Because that now, or before, it would be like, hey, Vince, you got to review this. I'd be like, man, when am I going to find time to do that? Hey, Vince, you got to respond to this denial letter. Oh, when am I going to find time to actually do that? Hey, Vince, you got to review the insurance company's estimate, compare it to your estimate, and see where the differences are and present the argument. When am I going to find time to do that? Where now, through the process of empowering and motivating the employees and everyone around me, and then teaching them whenever I can, it now gives them the right mindset, so that when I say, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, and I want to see the result that you get for this comparison review of a denial letter, and also with the brokering side of my business, which is reviewing NDAs and reviewing SIMs and valuations of businesses, where you learn how to do it, I learn how to do it, I'm going to teach you how to do it, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it, and then I'm going to tell you what the result that I want. Go ahead and do it, and then tell me. I don't know if that last sentence made much sense, but the idea is really, number one, give all those around you the motivation, the mindset, leadership skills to really empower them to be the 10.0 version of themselves. And then once you start doing that, and you do that consistently, and we do it every Monday, tomorrow at 11 a.m., we will have leadership training. And by leadership training, I don't mean leadership team. I mean literally instilling the values that are necessary to become leaders in their life. My biggest goal is for every single one of the people that are in Elite Resolutions, Commercial Claims Advocate, that my goal is to make them the one. And this time I'm going to actually look it up, because I keep forgetting who actually coined that term. Man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't find it, man. And he's like a big podcaster too. But anyway, my goal is for them to be the one in their families, in their group of friends, that people go to, that people are attracted to. Okay, I've talked about this before. Is you go to a restaurant and you see a large group, a large family, a table of everybody eating dinner, and there's always that one person at the head of the table or in the center of the table that everybody's sort of drawn to and attracted to. That's what I want to surround myself with. I want to surround myself with ones. I want to surround myself with those that are the one in their own family. I am the one in my company. My wife and I are definitely the one in our family. And it's because of our dedication and persistence and consistency with working hard, learning more, getting smarter, educating ourselves. And that's what I want to surround myself is just that. I want to surround myself with people, and I want to build everyone around me to be the one that people go to and that people look after. So what we talked about, I did 2 dream goal setting, basically seminars, right? I did one with one of our mastermind members, Rich. We did it with you. I'm going to call you out, so thank you. We did it with Rich just last Thursday or Wednesday. And then I did it with the in-person mastermind that we had as well. And I did a little bit different with the mastermind, but the idea is you want to start at the end and you want to work backwards. Okay. You got to think about what is it that Ed Milet, by the way, Ed Milet coined the phrase, the one. Okay. So I finally got it. I found it here. So dream big is basically give yourself permission to dream. What's the craziest, wildest, like, is it, private jets to travel the world? Is it just traveling the world? And if you travel the world, are you traveling first class? Are you traveling by private jet? What parts of the world do you want to go to? What kind of house do you want to live in? What do you want for the rest of your family? Are you very, very into your church and giving back and doing things like that? Are you very into giving back to third world countries? Is there a particular country? Like, you need to have and a lot of, obviously, we have to start with money. Okay, let's face it, got to value money. One thing that I learned in this book that I'm reading now, which is called, again, Multiple Streams of Income. First thing you have to do is you have to value money. Like, you have to. Okay, for those of you that think you can't that you shouldn't value money, you should value people. Yes, of course, you should value people, but you should also value money, because if you don't value money, then you're going to spend it every time you get it, and you're not going to use it for good when you actually generate a lot more of it. And if you don't value money, then it's going to be much harder for you to generate a lot more of it, because you don't care about it. You don't give a shit about it. So it's okay to value money. I don't mean that in a sense where you just worship money. You just value money. Okay. So by valuing money, you will make sure that you're saving in the right places, make sure you're investing in the right places, and so on and so forth. Okay. But anyway, in order to get to all of these crazy, big, hairy, audacious goals that might seem impossible to anybody that actually hears you talk about them, which is where you want to get to, a goal is not big enough if people aren't looking at you like you're crazy. Okay. If they're looking at you like, oh, yeah, you can do that, then it's not big enough. You got to go bigger. That's rule 101. And a lot of it revolves around money. So we actually had a few people in the mastermind that talked about $100 million. We had one person in the mastermind literally said $1 billion. He wants to get to $1 billion. And I loved it. I loved it because I told him in the beginning, I said, whatever you guys come up with now is probably not going to be big enough. And let me tell you, they all went very big, which is very, very excited. Wrote some of their goals on the board. Well, quite frankly, if you're going to get to $1 billion, if you're going to get to $100 million, whatever it is that you want to see in your bank account, I do believe that you need to have multiple streams of income. I really do. I firmly believe that. It's a journey that I've been on now in the last year or so, is really trying to figure out other streams of income. I've been a public adjuster for 15 years. 10 of those years, I did have a tennis academy as well. But because I wasn't educated enough, and really, I had no coaching. I read a lot of books, but it was a lot about tennis and stuff like that, and claims. I didn't really read about, and I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a business coach probably until 10 years after my entrepreneur journey, which is honestly one of my biggest regrets, because I know other coaches that I've talked to that I look up to, that one of the first things that they did was they had a mentor, they had a coach. Now, I did have a mentor, but it was very much claims related. It wasn't really just like how to ultimately scale your life to go like really just 10.0. So, I definitely think that I wish I would have hired a coach. But anyway, as soon as I started hiring coaches, as soon as I started educating myself on the right things, I've realized over the last year that the multiple streams of income is very, very important, but you cannot get there unless you actually figure out how to run your business so that it could basically almost run itself. I don't want to overuse that, because I also made the mistake of hiring other people, putting people in positions so that I wouldn't have to do those things anymore. But number one is I did not train them correctly on the front end, and I did not give them the tools to actually do that job the way I wanted them to do it. Now, if you join our mastermind, we provide those tools. We provide SOPs and checklists and different frameworks for you to actually do it the way you're supposed to do it. But I didn't have any of those. I would basically just hire somebody and say, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I want you to do it. Here's an idea of sort of how to do it. Now do it. And guess what? It never came out the way I wanted to, the way I wanted it to come out. So if you're going to have multiple streams of income, if you're going to have a public adjusting firm or work for a public adjusting firm, which, by the way, let me tell you something. I think that was another one that kind of put me, like I was going here and then it just kind of took me here, was when I started my own public adjusting firm. I'm not encouraging people to not start their own public adjusting firm. Trust me. I'm just saying that if you do work for another public adjusting firm, and the only reason why you really want to branch out on your own is because of pride, because you want to be the quote unquote owner. If you're working for a good firm and you like the people around you, there's no reason why you can't treat that as just one of your streams of income, or maybe your main stream of income, to allow you to actually start a different full-time business, right? Start a different entrepreneur journey. Like, that's okay. It might actually be a little bit easier if you're already working under a firm that could handle a lot of the, that could handle a lot of the administrative stuff, take that responsibility away from you to allow you to start and do something else on the side. I've always said one of the best things about being a public adjuster is the fact that it gives you the time and freedom and also income to try different things. So, everybody knows my story. I ran a tennis academy while I was a public adjuster. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I was ready, I guess, to take that tennis academy to where it needed to be, because I was always working in it. I was literally teaching classes every single day. And I ran that business for 5 years and I was on that court every single day. As the entrepreneur, we all know I should not have been on that court teaching. I should have just been growing it and scaling it. And it's a shame because, man, woof, the amazing ideas I had on that one definitely could have gone next level, but that's okay. You live and you learn. Everything happens for a reason. So, so you need multiple streams of income in order to do that, in order to ultimately get to the $1 billion that you want to get to. Okay. And if you want to get to $1 billion, I will say a great term that I learned also from Dan Martell is millionaires build systems and billionaires build people. Oh my God. It's so true. It's so true. However you want to look at that. It's so true. Systems are important, of course, but if you build the people, which is what I just went through the first half years, telling you how I'm really, really ultra focused on building the people, it definitely is next level. So if you want multiple streams of income, you have to learn first how to generate enough mainstream income in the one business that you're doing, go all in on it, and then obviously start training other people to take a lot of the roles away from you. One of the ways that I do that is I notice people, I'm telling people about this and they're getting it, is really when you are running a business or you have anybody under you. This is going to be very important. I want you to listen up. When you are delegating anything or training somebody to do something that you already do, I mean, we can go all in on checklists and SOPs. If hopefully you saw the video just this past Wednesday on how to properly create checklists and how to save them and so on and so forth. That was on YouTube. We go much more in depth in the mastermind with that. But if you're going to do that, you have to make sure that when you delegate and when you train others and when you're bringing on somebody underneath you to do a lot of the things that you've been doing for a long time, again, besides the SOPs, checklists, and some sit down training on sort of what to do, the X's and O's and the details. If you're going to delegate things, you have to make sure that you have and you tell them the result. You have to have the result in mind. Most entrepreneurs, most visionaries, most people who are just dreaming and stuff like that, they could think of a million ways to skin a cat and they could get very too far in the weeds as to how to do the separate things. When you delegate something to somebody, you have to make sure that they understand the result that you want, the result that you have in mind. What is it that you want it to look like? Once they understand that, then you have to allow them to just sort of take it and run with it how they see fit. Okay. So, that's what's most important. Making sure that you do that. Let me see. Can I pause real quick? Hold on. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So, all right, I'm back. Don't leave. Don't leave. All right. So, one thing is making sure that you explain to the people around you that it's all about the result. I'm a visual person. I like to have an idea of what it looks like. A lot of times people will explain something to me, an idea that they have that they want to implement to the company. And my thing is telling me, I always ask them, like, what does that look like? Okay. Paint me a picture. All right. Or show me on a screen share exactly what it looks like. That's much easier for me. Just personally, I'm a very, very visual person. One of the reasons why I love to draw models when I train, guys, if you can get an opportunity, please send me a message, send me a DM. If you just want, look, to anybody watching right now, I'm throwing out an invite to just come and watch one of our mastermind trainings. Like, just please, whether you want to sign up for the mastermind or not, I'm inviting you. Anybody that's watching here, we've got a little bit more viewers than normal, so I'm very excited about that. I'm inviting you, shoot me a DM, okay, on any of these platforms, okay, on Facebook or Instagram. Just shoot me a DM, okay, please, and just I will invite you personally to come to one of my in-person live, not in person, one of my live trainings that we do. We do it every Monday and every Wednesday. Wednesdays with Jeremy, Mondays with me. But I love to draw models because I'm just like a visual person. Again, learned it from my coach, Dan Martell. Thank you for that. And, that's what I do. I draw because I know that people are visual and some people are much better at actually seeing what it looks like as opposed to just being lectured. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, very interesting stuff, Vince. I'm still doing the PA thing, but have scaled back and focusing on other ventures. The insurance world has changed, so we need to change. Exactly. Like with everything, I started the show by saying when you're going through something very, very difficult in your life or complex or whatever, that just means that you're on the breakthrough of something bigger and badder. I think what's going on with the insurance industry, public adjusting, claims, so on and so forth, and sort of the difficulty is just something that it's a challenge that we have that could end up being something much better in all of our lives, or maybe in the insurance game in general. So, life with Sean, life with Sean, I'd love for you to send me a message. I know you're on YouTube, but find me on Facebook and find me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'd love to talk to you further because you'd love to see one of my trainings. But yeah, I forgot what I was saying. I actually lost my train of thought on this one. Chris, yes, shoot me a message, Chris. Would love to have you on. You have to have it with the result in mind. You have to make sure that you paint a picture to your employee, to your adjuster, to your independent contractor, whatever it is that you're trying to sort of portray to them. Don't get them in the weeds. Don't tell them exactly how you want it done. Just give them the result. Paint the picture for them. And here's what I want it to look like. Now go. There's a 10-80-10 principle. So you give them 10% of the information, sort of 10% of what you sort of want. Show them the result. That's in the beginning. They do 80% of the work, and then you come back 10% at the end of just making sure it looks good. Most of the time, these people are going to do it much better than you did it or than you would do it. And a lot of the times they're going to get it done exactly the way you actually want it, you know, by allowing them to do it. It's been very eye-opening for me to watch it. You know, on the commercial claims advocate side, you know, our team, we've got 4 people, if you include our video editor, which, I mean, in case you haven't seen, the YouTube videos are just like fire, like just poof, poof, in your face. Really great transitions and cuts and stuff like that. But there's 3 people who really run that show. Okay, shout out to Zenga. For those of you that know Zenga, you should. He's been with me for a very long time. Shout out to Jamela, and then also shout out to Travis. So you know, these 3 really have taken the bull by the horns. All right, if that's how the phrase goes, and have really gone next level with it. We're all working very well together. And you know, I don't even run the meetings. I am in the meetings for now. We'll see where that goes. I'm in the weekly meetings, but I don't run them. Okay. Zenga takes charge. He has the entire outline of how the meeting's supposed to flow, and he is on top of it. And I'm just like a person in the meeting. And then we're building leaders with them because we have one person who's in charge of ads and running the meeting, so on and so forth. That's Zenga. Jamela is just our content creator, our content designer, our content freaking queen is actually what we call her. And she's not too far away from actually having people under her, and she's building her leadership skills. Travis is all in on it as well. And the reason why I'm saying that is because what I'm trying to build with them is an opportunity for them to become leaders within the organization, leaders within themselves, so that I don't have to do as much. And all I have to do is, at least for the CCA side, my one job should be this. My one job should be Monday podcast, Wednesday solo show, and Sunday live. All right. And then obviously your stories and your daily content and so on and so forth. That really should be my only job. And then ultimately just find bigger and better opportunities as we go. Now we're still building the infrastructure a little bit. CCA is pretty much done, guys. So get ready. You're going to basically have access to Commercial Claims Advocate eventually, and you'll be able to shop around and shop the different courses and workbooks and stuff like that. That'll be done by Q2. So we're excited about that. We've got some free webinars. We've got some events that we want to do. And even in the event, if we plan an event, everyone else needs to plan the event. I need to invite the big wigs and then show my face. And that's where we're getting to allow me now to do other ventures, right? So brings me back to the other ventures. If I don't let go of the running of Commercial Claims Advocate, if I don't let go of the running of Elite Resolutions, which by the way, our business model behind that is really allowing the public, paying the public adjusters a high enough percentage, okay, so that they feel like they're running their own company, but also empower them to run the claim from A to Z, and paying them enough of a percentage where, quite frankly, if they wanted to hire their own admin or somebody to really help them in the day-to-day stuff that is bogging them down, they could afford it. it's high enough percentage where they could actually do it. Now it's full responsible. I'm only taking a bit so that I could make sure that we continue to run and we take the responsibility. But I want to make sure that they're getting paid enough. Again, everything is empowering for me. Let's empower them. Now with public adjusters, you guys are working strictly commission, so you got to get money. So I kicked up all of their percentages. If anyone's interested in finding out what that percentage is, please feel free to send me a DM on what we're paying our adjusters to make sure that they just run their own ship and I don't have to worry about them too much. But I'm always still here for them if they need anything. And also making sure that they're a part of the leadership meetings and stuff like that. So what I'm doing that is to allow me to do other things. So, one of those things is acquiring another business. That's going to happen here in 2025, without a doubt. What that business is going to look like, I don't know yet. As long as it's a good business that I can acquire it, we're going to acquire a business. The next thing is I'm actually brokering deals as well. So I'm actually selling businesses. So we have a list of potential businesses. We have one in particular in the Tampa area that if anybody's interested, again, please shoot me a DM and I'll be happy to help you and give you more information on that. You would have to sign an NDA if you wanted to get more information, but I am brokering deals. So I am a business broker as well. And I've got some help with that, making sure that we're doing the proper follow-up. But that I'm going in a little bit more on that right now to now slowly establish the checklist, the processes, the procedures so that gets worked on and I don't have to do a lot of the day-to-day as well. What's my job with brokering the business is finding the buyers, okay, speaking with other brokers when need be, really obviously serving and speaking to the seller of the business, making sure that they have an understanding of what's going on and making sure that, their business is valued correctly and it's being sort of marketed the way it's supposed to, and then bringing those deals together and ultimately knocking those deals out. I just started. That's something that's brand new. I don't have a particular niche that I'm in. Right now, it's just anybody that wants to sell their business, wanting to make sure that they understand what their business is worth and finding them the buyers to do so. I'm working with a local brokerage here in the Wesley Chapel area. Very, very excited about working with them, Murtha and Fleischl. So I'm pretty excited. It's pretty awesome. So that's another stream of income, right? Once I acquire the new business, basically I implement making sure that we have an operator in charge. We have administrative already done. We have all SOPs and checklists in place. Hopefully it's already in place. We have salespeople already in place. We have a marketing strategy. If there's not one, obviously you guys know with my team, we can implement one rather quickly. So I already know exactly what I'm looking at. And depending on the business, I'm going to make sure all those things get implemented before day one, because you usually have about 90 or 120 days before you actually go all in. In those 90, 120 days, as long as all the numbers work out, all those things, all those hirings and SOPs and so on and so forth, all that stuff's going to be implemented by day one, so that because of the fact that I'd be acquiring an existing business, it would be already done. Does that make sense? So it won't automatically, I could acquire one like that. It won't take too much of my time because it'll all be implemented just from everything that I've been learning and through my mistakes and through my successes over the last 15 years. So that's what I'm doing. And then real estate is another one. Obviously, a lot of people like real estate. My only thing that I don't like about real estate is if you don't find a good cash flowing property where the rent is actually going above and beyond what you are paying out to mortgage and so on and so forth, that also could become very, very time consuming. Dealing with tenants and dealing with the rental income and dealing with all that stuff could be very, very time consuming. You'll be surprised. So, another thing is partner up with somebody. I don't think it's 2025. I don't think you should be so discouraged about partnering up with somebody because, sometimes you may not be able to afford it. You may not have the time. And if that person offsets your skills, then that's great. So for acquiring the business, I am partnering up with a friend of mine. We've been friends since 9th grade. And he's very, very, very experienced and knowledgeable from being in the military of systems and operations, where my systems and operations game is pretty damn good. I'm definitely more of a marketing guy because of what I've done with the YouTube channel, what I've done with CCA, and the revenue that we've been able to generate through that. So our skills offset each other, and we're very good friends from a very long time. So whatever business we acquire, we will be doing it together, and we're very excited about it. So we're actively looking at one business right now in particular. So anyway, it's very important that if you're going to get to that $100 million mark or to that $1 billion mark that you want to get to, so that you could live the life of your dreams and that everything and everyone around you could also live the life of their dreams, well, yeah, you're going to have multiple streams of income. And that's the big idea here. That's what kept coming up when we were doing this exercises with everybody on Friday, and when I did it with Rich the other day, was acquiring another business, or scaling the public adjusting firm so that there's, several different offices are located throughout the country, or that there is a franchise model, which is just basically other little businesses as well. But it all boils down to making sure that if you're going to scale that big for anything, whether it's multiple businesses, franchise model, whatever it is, understand that you're going to have people. You can't do it yourself. You're going to have people around you. You're going to have to make sure that those people are trained and understand what they have to do, but you're also going to have to understand that it is important to empower them. And that is, for me, the big breakthrough. If you guys have been following me for the last 5 years, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I know that the people around me in Elite Resolutions and Commercial Claims Advocate, I know they've seen it. But things have changed. I've changed. I've grown tremendously just over the last 6 months. Tremendously. And a lot of it has been on my selflessness now to give it all away and just empower, and impact everyone around me. Anyone who's watched me speak just over the last 6 months on a stage is a whole other level. I mean, we did an event not too long ago with Preferred Claims and Matt Mulholland, and I can't remember the name of the attorney. Man, I went up there and I fucking rocked it. I ain't gonna lie. I rocked the show. I just went all in, man. I went all in. I just wanted to make as much of an impact on everybody that was in that crowd. And I did a sales training with a local public adjusting firm, another one of our mastermind members. He asked me, he's like, hey, can you come on our weekly call and do a sales training? And I said, absolutely, let's do it. And I could already see the social media content coming out from their team after I just basically laid into them and told them the importance of posting on social media. I had a great conversation with Jeremy Lavelle. He's our fellow coach in our mastermind. We got together after all the mastermind members left, and we sat down, had a nice dinner, and had a nice long conversation. And I don't know if he's watching right now, but I laid into him as well. Like, let's go. Like, it is time. It is time to go next level. Everyone around me has to go next level. If you are not bettering yourself every single day, and you're not better today than you were yesterday, and you're not doing the things that you need to do to get to your big, crazy, wild, hairy, audacious goals of 100 million or a billion, then I don't know if I want you around me. That's the level I'm at. I made a big decision in the company, a couple of weeks ago, and a lot had to do with that. A lot had to do with I don't have time for people who just don't want to get better, with people who are just happy with the status quo, with people that are just happy with their, regular paycheck, normal life, and they're just going to live it like that. And, I used to actually catch myself. I would have this conversation with my wife and I'd be like, why isn't this person getting better? Why isn't this person as motivated as me? Why aren't they getting out there and getting after it the way they should be? And I'm so frustrated with this person. They're friends too. I'm talking about friends around me. She used to always tell me, she's like, well, everybody's different. Not everybody's like you. Not everybody's like, always out there waking up at 5:30 and working out and doing all these, like, you're kind of a crazy person, which I admit, I'm kind of a crazy person. And I used to be like, yeah, I guess you're right. But I had this conversation with her the other day and she gave me the same response. And then I looked at her and I said, yeah, no, not anymore. I don't care. I'm not going to accept that. I don't want to be around people that aren't bettering themselves. And if that's the way you want to do it, then that's fine. That's on you. Just don't come around me. Don't come around me and don't expect me to sit down, have a conversation with you and listen to you just bitch and moan and complain about your tough life. Everybody's got a tough life. I am doing this live right now and you don't even know the situation that I had to deal with in the morning. So I'll admit it now for those of you that are still watching, my mom's got pretty late stage dementia. We'll throw it out there. And I will tell you, I'm her only child and I'm her caretaker, you know? And it is tough, you know. Anybody here that's still watching that has had to be the direct caretaker. I'm not talking about for those of you that had to take care of your grandparents or witness your grandparents or your grandparent live with you and you had to, like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like you are the sole responsible person for all the decisions and everything that occurs in that person's life. From like, I mean, I'm talking like refilling the medication, making sure it's there, taking them to the doctor, taking them to the psychiatrist or whatever, making sure that they have a place to stay, making sure that there's like a nurse, making sure that they sign up for their, daycare and stuff like that, finding them a good home if they need to move to a good home. Like literally when you are the one, and then all of the I mean, the emotional roller coaster that they go through, which in turn they put you through. They say that the people who suffer most in the life of someone going through dementia is always the caretaker. And I will tell you, I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised that I'm doing this live today because this morning was a rough morning. It's rough. It's rough because you got to be there for them. And a lot of times they don't know where they are. A lot of times they're just very upset. They're very anxious. They're very depressed. They're very angry. And they're not sure why this is happening and why are they here? Why are they there? They get confused with the homes, with the cars, with the people in the family and the friends. And it's just like, it's it's tough. It's tough. Which brings me back to I'm not going, and I'm still here and I'm still doing this live because I know, number one, I'm getting really good response from it. I got to be honest, and I'm pleasantly surprised at that. But I know that the consistency, and I know that the content that I'm available of producing will ultimately give me a good response. I mean, 5 years I've been doing this. I could honestly count on one hand really negative responses and people who don't like what I'm saying. So I know I have a gift and a skill and also a persistence and consistency to be successful in this. But I also am aware that by going live on Sundays, this is great for the algorithm, for YouTube, and for everything else. And I know will ultimately increase my exposure on social media. It's really the number one MO that I'm doing the Sunday live is just for more exposure. Okay. Because, you need to try to use all the different things that you have available at your disposal for social media. I'd like to actually throw in on Fridays. I'm probably going to do like a Q&A on social media as well. But like one of those people where you could on Instagram, you could put the question or you could open it up for questions and then you answer them. But I'm still here. So don't come to me. I don't want people around me that tell me that, they've got too much going on in their life. They've got too much responsibility. They've got, too much crap. Like, don't come around me. Like, that's no excuse for you not to still get out there and get after it. Now, with that said, you're going to have your moments. You're going to have a couple days. You're going to have maybe a week or a couple weeks or maybe even a month where maybe you're not on point with your diet. You're not on point with your exercise. You're not reading as much as you're supposed to. You're not pursuing that course or whatever it is. That's going to happen. That's okay. Here's where the importance, though, I'm going to bring it all back to figuring out what your crazy, wild, hairy, audacious dreams are and goals are. What we do is we work backwards. We start with the crazy, ridiculous goal of one person said they wanted to own an island. Okay. So we start with the owning of the island or the $1 billion in revenue, and then we work our way back. So we usually go, and that could be your 10-year, that could be 50 years. Doesn't matter what that goal is or when you're going to achieve it. It's just what you want to get. But now you got to work your way back. So you can work your way back. Like what does it need to look like in 5 years? What does it need to look like in 3 years? But then we have to get back to like the next 12 months. Okay. Now, what are the steps that you need to take over the next 12 months? Okay. You know that in order to get $1 billion, I have to run several different companies. I have to have a public adjusting firm that's spread throughout the entire country. I have to have a certain amount of real estate properties and investment properties and stuff like that. You don't even have to have a number. You just know it's $1 billion, and you have to know that in 5 years, you have to be on track to maybe getting all these things. Now, what do you have to do this year in order to get there? Okay. Who do you need to hire? What position do you need to hire? What's the revenue goal that you need to have? How many states do you need to be licensed in? If real estate's a big thing for you, do you have your real estate license? No? Well, maybe this year you should get your real estate license. If acquiring a business is something that you're actually interested in, maybe this year or over the next few months, you should actually read 2 books about business acquisition. Okay. If you want to be a broker, maybe get a certification. So for me, it was reading. I needed to read. I had already the list of 3 books. So this year I've already completed them, but 3 books on business acquisition that I wanted to start and I wanted to finish. I finished all 3. I also need to get my real estate license. Got the real estate license. I'm also now getting one of the most prestigious brokering certifications. I'm in the process, halfway through it. It's called the CBI. I'm getting that right now as we speak. I'm doing it every single day. Wanted to get down to 10% body fat. I've actually gained some weight. I might have to get back down again because I just want to be in shape. You know, for me, being in great shape, it just adds a level of confidence that I wouldn't have if I was just chubby and eating like shit. Anyway, when you're having a bad month, when you're having a bad couple days, when you're having a bad week, when you're having a bad whatever it is, it brings me back to, if you don't do this exercise, if you don't write down what your crazy, big, hairy, audacious goals are, and you don't write the 10 or 12 or 15 goals that you have to accomplish, that if all else fails, as long as you accomplish these goals at the end of the year, you're on the right track. If you don't write that, I get back to that. If you don't write those things down, then what's going to happen is if you have a bad couple days, if you have a bad couple of months or a couple of weeks or whatever, you just start to lose sight. And then you don't get back on track. The goals help me stay on point even when I'm going through the shit. Okay. I have to several nights a week, I have to sleep at my mom's house because we're afraid that she's going to actually walk out. So just, yeah, that means I can't sleep at home with my family, with my wife. I have to go there. But even when I'm there, I'm going through my course. I'm reading my books. I'm still getting up early in the morning before she wakes up to go work out, you know. And it's only, I think, because I have them written down. I have the goals for the year written down. I am fucking convinced I'm going to accomplish every single one of those goals. Like, that's without a doubt. Because that's the other one, you know, you talk about sense it, desire, and expect it. Like, I already expect to complete those goals. So even when I'm in the shit and I'm stressed out with having the personal issues that I have with taking care of my mom and all of that stuff, like, as long as I've got those goals written down and as long as those goals are going to get accomplished within the next 12 months, no matter what, then that keeps you on track, even when you're not doing well. I had that conversation with one of our mastermind members, and I was telling her everything that I was going through. She was nice enough to listen because it's been pretty rough. And I told her, having my goals listed, and one of the 5 daily non-negotiables is you have to review your goals every single day, 3 times a day, if possible. So by me being able to review those goals, okay, and really looking at them and knowing that they're there and they're always going to be there, it keeps you on track even when you're not feeling it. It keeps you on track. Because what I used to do is I used to write down all my goals for the next 3 months or and I used to just like lose the book that I wrote them in. Or I would write them like in a legal pad like this, and you know, that legal pad gets used, it's done, and you put it away. Now you don't know what your goals are. Or I'd even put it in my phone and my notes, and I would never actually, you know, look back at them. But now I have them saved in a particular place on my notes, and I read them every single day, no matter what, to keep me on track. I also wrote in the beginning of the year, well, I wrote 2 things. Another great exercise that we did with the team, that their homework is this big, crazy, audacious goal. And you already know that you have to have all these companies in this real estate and you're making $1 billion and you're giving back and you're doing all these things for your friends and family. Okay, now I want you to write the story as if you have already achieved it. Write the story as long as that story needs to be. It's one of the most fun. You write it as if it's already happened. So I'm really, really happy to now be making over $1 billion. Or I'm really, really happy to now be worth over $1 billion. It's an amazing feeling to be able to really provide for all of my family and do all the things that I never thought that I'd be able to do. I own this, I own that, and I love the employees that I have, and they're doing this for me, they're doing that for that, and all the public adjusters are running around. Like, you just write it as if it's already happened. First of all, it's a great exercise because it makes you feel good. Second of all, every time you read it after you've written it, it's a great reminder and a great pick me up to know that that's where you're headed because you've written it like it's already happened. And then I'll take it another step further is that you could do the same thing for the year end goal. So like, let's say right now it's March 30th, 2025. You go right as if you were in March 30th, 2026. We did that with the mastermind group as well. We did it in late December, early January. I think it was the last course, the last training we did. For those of you in the mastermind, Rich, if you haven't seen that, I want you to write what your word is, right, for 2025. And I want you to write what we told. I said, I want you guys to write as if it's December 31st, 2025. And at the time it was like December 20 something, 2024, and write the whole story as if everything that you've wanted to do has already been accomplished. It's a great exercise. So not only reviewing your goals, but reviewing that story every once in a while. The story, you don't have to review 3 times a day. Their goals you have to review 3 times a day. But the story, when you get back to that and you read it, it's really put you in a great place and let you know where you're really headed. So if I could say anything, no matter what you have going on in your life, no matter what tough things, if you set your goals, you write them down and you review them, it will help keep you on track with no matter what you have going on with your life. So yeah, that's it, guys. I don't know if that was really heartfelt or what, but this morning was a rough morning and I almost did not go on the live, but I'm so happy that I did. I'm so happy I was able to get that out there. And I'm so happy that anybody that took the time to watch this really could get something out of it. Thank you for those of you that are on. If you guys are interested at all in business acquisition, man, please hit me up. You're going to start to see some of that content coming out definitely within the next few months. I haven't created any of it yet, but I'm waiting for sort of the right time, but it's going to happen pretty soon. You're going to start seeing some content about business acquisition and business brokering and stuff like that. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, bro. Shoot me a DM, see if we get you in on Monday. And also you're going to start seeing some content about that because, I do want to help those that are looking for multiple streams of revenue. And I'm thinking that, I think some of that content could be pretty good. Also, of course, so if you're interested at all in joining the mastermind, shoot me a DM, anyone at all. It's pretty good. It's not just public adjusting. Mondays, it's very just me, leadership, mindset, systems, marketing, and a lot of just business stuff to really help you on your journey of entrepreneurship, to allow you the time to do more things. And then Wednesday, it's all in with Coach Jeremy Lavelle. Everybody started calling him Coach. On claims, man. Like, honestly, the guy not only knows how to run a claim, but knows how to communicate on how he does it. So it's amazing stuff. You get access to all of our courses. Leadership course is almost done. You get access to all of the recordings from the live trainings. Like, it is next level, the mastermind, and I can't wait. It's definitely making an impact on other people. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. It's just getting better and better. I booked a couple cool podcasts coming up this month with some people who are definitely not public adjusters, but have quite the following on social media. So I'm pretty excited about that. A lot of good things. And no matter what's going on in your personal life, guys, keep at it. Keep focusing on yourself. Make sure that you remember that you are the most important person in your life. And if you keep developing, if you keep growing, if you keep doing what you can to make an impact on others, it will have an impact on everyone around you. And by you focusing on yourself, on your health, on your education, and on your journey, it will only help all of those around you. So don't steer off track and don't think that it has to be about everyone else. If you focus on yourself and you better yourself every single day, that today you were better than you were yesterday, and you keep that going, it will have a tremendous impact on all those around you, which will only help everyone grow. So that's what we got, guys. Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. We went pretty much exactly an hour on that one. Yes. And Rich, thank you for coming on. Life with Sean, thank you for commenting. Chris Montoya, thank you for commenting as well. And Jesse, thank you for commenting also. Got a little bit more viewership here. Awesome. Love it. We're going to keep growing this thing week by week and day by day. So guys, make sure you get some rest today. Spend time with your family. Enjoy your hopefully relaxing Sunday. And try not to work too hard. Try not to get too stressed so that you can be prepared and ready for what I think is the best day of the week. And that's Monday, because that's when you get to really make a difference and to make a huge impact. So get some rest, get some sleep, and get ready. And hope you guys have a killer week. See you guys next week.